What is up, everybody? J Nell here with my UFC 209 prediction video. I'm super excited for this event. Let's get right into it. Now, the first fight is the hardest for me to choose, quite frankly. I've been going back and forth now still. That's Alistair Overeem versus Mark Hunt. Initially, I wanted to pick Alistair, but I started to think about it more. I think he has more diversity and more tools standing, especially with that kickboxing background, of course. I think he'll be faster. I think he's a bit more athletic. However, I think he's mentally inconsistent. Sometimes he's a little overconfident. Sometimes he's a little lax. Sometimes with the Stipe fight, he was too heady. He was what you could see him thinking. So he's a little mentally inconsistent, whereas Mark Hunt is very mentally strong. I think that he has less tools, but when we're talking about just straight boxing, Mark Hunt can stand with the best of them. He is the inventor of the one punch, walk away, no look, knockout, okay? But I do think that he's going to want to take this fight to the ground. I think he's going to close the distance against Alistair, at least hold him up against the cage with the dirty boxing, and maybe you could push away and connect then. But either way, I think he needs to close the space. He's very heavy on top with his wrestling, very heavy top position with nice ground and pound. He's going to have to think. This is going to be a very strategic fight for both of them. There might be periods in this fight where we see no action because it's a movement battle. You know what I'm saying? So we could see that from these two as well. We could see it end in 2 seconds, 2 minutes, unanimous decision, draw, doctor stoppage is possible in this one. Anything can happen here. Anything. A heck of a way to start a card. And I'm going to go ahead and go with Mark Hunt. I don't know. Now, next up, I'm choosing Lando Veneta to beat David Tamir, although that's going to be a great fight as well, possibly a show stealer, so don't blink on that one. I'm choosing Rashad Evans to beat David Kelly. I'm nervous about that because Rashad has been known to show ring rust before, and he hasn't fought in about a year. There's issues with black zillions, so David Kelly is a judo Olympian with slick submission, so I'm nervous, but I'm going with Rashad Evans, who's a bit more athletic, a bit faster, fought a higher level of competition. In mixed martial arts. Now, co-main event. Now, I am trying to get this out quick because I am equally angry and excited for this fight. We have the number 1 and number 2 lightweights in the world fighting for an interim title shot. And just real quick about that, Mr. Dana White, you were right. You were right in the beginning to say that you were not going to allow a champion to hold 2 belts in 2 different divisions at the same time for fear that it would hold up one or both divisions. You were right. You should have stuck to that rule instead of chasing dollar signs by the name of Conor McGregor. You could have got those dollar signs without disrupting 2 divisions. Conor McGregor is money. Money. So you could have got that without screwing other fighters and disrupting 2 divisions. He comes in 13 seconds, beats Jose Aldo. Congrats, by the way. But we all know that 13 seconds isn't long enough to really determine who's better. But instead of going back down there, does anybody ever think he's going to go fight at 145 again? I don't. So you just gave the belt basically right back to Jose Aldo. Then he comes and gets the lightweight belt. He's the lightweight champ. And instead we have the 1 and 2 fighting for an interim belt for a champion who's not hurt, but who just wants to take some time out, lobby for a fight outside of the entire sport in boxing, and wait for his girlfriend to have a baby. It's ridiculous. Plenty of fighters have girlfriends that have babies. Okay? We're waiting for you to try to make a fight happen between Floyd Mayweather. Okay? Meanwhile, we're having a place-holding belt because neither one of these men consider this belt to be the real belt. Neither one of them do. Neither one of them will be champion, except for one of them will catch an L that they didn't have to have because both Khabib and Tony have earned title shots against Conor McGregor. They should not be fighting each other. This is stupid. Now, we're having it though. We're going to see it. Let's talk about it. The number 1, Khabib Nurmagomedov, is an expert in combat sambo wrestling. He's an expert at what he does. Gets it from his daddy. If he gets on top, you're not getting up. He is so dominant on top. The way he can feel his opponent's body weight. He has a counter action for every move you make. You move to this side, he's over there. You move to this side, you can't get up here. You try to mad scramble or go for a submission attempt to get up. He's got that counter move as well. And the whole time, he is literally beating you from head to toe while submission attempts in between. It's overwhelming. It's smothering. It's overwhelming as someone watching it. That Michael Johnson fight, boy, too tough for his own good. I mean, he was tat, 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 submission attempt, tat, 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 submission attempt, tat, tat, tat. When it was over, the whole audience was like, phew, because we were tired of seeing Michael Johnson get beat up. He is overwhelming when he gets you down. Now, his stand-up game, though, is lacking. It's definitely lacking. He's not that well-rounded, unfortunately. We saw that even Michael Johnson was able to tag him and stun him on the feet. Part of this, I believe, is because he hasn't been able to fight consistently. He's had injuries, big-time knee injuries. He was out for 2 years at one point, out for a year at one point. I believe had he been able to fight consistently over the last 5 to 7 years, that he would be better on the feet and even more dangerous. But there's a hole there. And if there's anybody who can exploit a standing game hole, which sounds so weird, it is El Kakui, the number 2, Mr. Tony Ferguson. Mr. Tony Ferguson. A little quick about his personality. It's unfair, but we're always encouraging fighters to not only be great athletes, but to be personalities because it's the new sport and we need stars. Tony Ferguson is a great example of that. 2 years ago, we didn't know who Tony Ferguson was, unless you were, you really into the fight world like that. You didn't know who Tony Ferguson was. The man went on like a 10-fight winning streak, performing spectacularly in the ring, outside the ring, talking cash, money, smack, sunglasses on in the dark, swagalicious, gangsterific. He's that guy. Tony's so cool. I think he's so cool. You just look at him in the interviews after with the shades on and the suit and he ain't even moving, he's just talking. He's so cool. So, talking about making yourself a star. Tony Ferguson. Now let's talk about his skill set. At first, part of himself making a star, he used to talk about, I don't train. We knew he trained. He trains with Freddie Roach and them. Great team, great game planners, great training partners. And we're seeing that work. Oh man, he is hitting his stride. He can do everything well to the point where it's hard to nail down, to quantify his talent. Is he a black belt in this? Is he a black belt in that? Is he da-da-da-da? He does everything. He's got great jiu-jitsu, great submissions. He's got great Muay Thai. He's got knockout power. He's so creative and unique on the feet. You do not know what he's going to do. You can watch all the film that there is on Tony Ferguson and still not know what he's going to do because he debuts new moves. He's like a little bit of John Jones in him. He debuts new moves, creative in the ring, and innovative in the octagon, makes the adjustments in the octagon, decides to switch up what he's gonna do in the octagon. So you can't game plan for him. You don't know what he's going to do. 9-10 shot combinations, which includes the knees and the elbows and step-in elbows and somersault kicks, standing submissions. When it comes to the standing game, Tony's that guy. So, and I definitely I think that for that first round, Khabib is either going to have really telegraphed takedown attempts because he simply doesn't know what to do, or he might just simply be hesitant and stay away from Tony for that first round. I don't know how he's going to get inside, but he will. Okay, he will. Because he is a combat sambo expert. So the question is, what happens when he gets Tony to the ground? It will happen. It will happen. So what happens when he gets Tony to the ground? Tony Ferguson is probably the one person who I would say has the skill set to get up. To get up. Tony Ferguson, I believe it was Danny Castillo that he beat off his back. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it was Castillo. He beat him off his back. 2 rounds on his back. Tagging him. Submission attempts. Tagging him. Drew blood damage. Tagging him off his back. Won the fight. That's how active he is. That's how much he scrambles. That's how unpredictable he is. He will take the risk, which could hurt him, but he also could take that risk so he can stand up, so he can get off from underneath Khabib's offense on the ground, so he can throw it back. Khabib, once he gets on top, it's all Khabib. He hasn't had anybody throw it back, off the back. So, what happens when this fight goes to the ground? And all fights start standing, all rounds start standing. So if Tony is whooping him up for, let's say, 3 minutes and 3.5 minutes, but then gets taken down for the last, you see what I'm saying? So I don't know how this fight's gonna go because I don't know what happens when it goes to the ground, and it will. And it will. On the feet, it's Ferguson. On the ground, I don't know. This is the one person who I think might be able to get up. And if you've been paying attention to me and you've been listening to me, you kind of already know where I'm going with this because he's so cool. I'm going with my boy El Kakui, Tony Ferguson. But Khabib could win. This ain't no landslide. I'm not even that sure. I'm like 51% over here. I'm kind of hoping. All right. Either way, we're going to have a great fight. But going first. And now, main event. I'm going to talk less about the main event than I did the co-main event. But main event, we have the UFC welterweight champion, Tyron Woodley, in a rematch against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. If you saw the first fight, it was fight of the night. Great, excellent fight. Majority draw in favor of Tyron Woodley. The rounds that he won, to me, he won more decisively. He also had the near finish. He did more damage. In my opinion, I was okay with the majority draw, but I also would have been okay with Tyron winning. So, this next fight. Rematches are tricky. You can't necessarily say that the person who won last time is going to win. It's going to be a different fight. You can't say that the person who didn't win is going to win again because they'll make the necessary adjustments. I'm not sure. Wonderboy is an expert kickboxer. Totally unique. A thing of beauty to watch on the feet, quite frankly. Real artist. But he wasn't able to make that work for him in the first fight, and there was opportunities there. In the first fight, for the first couple of rounds, Tyron had his back up against the cage. I think he was trying to survey Wonderboy, trying to see things coming, trying to figure out his distance. But either way, Wonderboy, there was an opportunity where he was kind of a slow-moving target, and I felt like had you been more aggressive, that you probably could have made your offense work for you quicker. Maybe won those earlier rounds, maybe won your rounds more decisively, maybe had a majority draw in your favor, who knows? But either way, I felt like his offense didn't quite work. Now, Tyron Woodley, we thought he was a one-trick pony when it comes to the feet, that just that one punch, that one knockout punch. No, he showed more. He showed a jab. He showed a jab in this fight. He showed combinations with his hands, actual combinations. The damage he did he had feints, okay? He started doing well once he started moving forward. I was so nervous with his back up against the cage. I was like, you're a sitting duck. When he started moving forward, when he figured out his range, when he started being the initiator, the aggressor, that's when he started winning. When Tyron was moving forward, he was winning. When he did his damage, the rounds he won more decisively. He did more damage, and he had a near finish. I think he was the one that figured out the fight quicker. I think by the end of that last fight, it was Tyron who figured it out, not Wonderboy. And so that's kind of why I'm choosing Tyron again, because I feel like that click that happened, he'll take that and run. Whereas Wonderboy still needs to find the click. You see what I'm saying? That's not to say that he won't, with those beautiful kicks, it's not to say that he won't kick him in the face and knock him out and become the new champ. This fight can go either way. These are real close fights. That co-main event's a close fight. The first fight's a close fight. This is going to be a really good card, but I am sticking with the champ, Mr. Tyron Woodley, excuse me. Let me know all your picks, any injury updates. Let me know how you're excited about this. Let me know what you thought of the first fight between the champ and Wonderboy. Either way, this video's getting a little long. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm now on Snapchat now. Subscribe, like, talk to me, take care, and goodbye.